I choose to challenge.
I choose to challenge.
I choose to challenge.
Young girls always aspire to be like their mothers, but grandmothers are as equally as influential. The first woman who inspired me is my grandmother, Freda Bruton. When I was 6 years old, my mother died from brain cancer, and my grandmother raised me my whole life. My grandmother is a kind woman. I remember her taking care of her older friends, always giving back to the less fortunate, and volunteering. She inspired me to live by my mantra, to whom much is given, much is required. She was also a woman about business. I vividly remember her morning routine: to make her bed, get her coffee, and then do crossword puzzles. She loves Wheel of Fortune and Jeopardy, screaming out all the right answers before the people. Witnessing this inspired me to always be learning, to make sure that in everything I do, to always be a student. She bought me the whole Nancy Drew book series to teach me the importance of reading. And now, up to this day, I make sure that I am always reading a book leisurely. She always instilled in me to wear a jacket just in case, wear tights under my dresses and skirts, and in all, how to be a kind person. Very soft-spoken, my grandmother inspires me beyond my work ethic that helps me professionally. She exhibits how an honorable woman carries herself 24/7.
These are my grandmothers, Hattie Mae and Lorraine. They are the matriarchs of my family. I chose them because they're both very influential women in my life. They both have been through a lot of things. They saw a lot at an early age. And despite all of that, they kept pushing. They never complained, and they were just phenomenal women to have around while I was growing up. My granny is my mother's mother, and one thing I learned from her was to just always present yourself well. So a funny memory or story that I have of her is we were going to one of my cousin's weddings, and I had a very short dress on, and one of the things she said is, "I hope you have on some cute underwear because everybody's gonna see it." And after that, I was like, okay, we gotta go get some tights, I gotta get a longer dress, and it was always just making sure you look presentable, making sure you look well, and presenting yourself in the best light. So that's just something I hold on to. They chose to challenge by being strong women and breaking kind of the mold. Both of my grandmothers said how they felt. They did what they wanted to, despite women's history and women's rights during that time. They decided to just do what they wanted to do and break the mold. They always inspired me to go after what I wanted and also to say how I feel. That's something my grandmother Lorraine would always say. She was like, "One thing about you, you're gonna get a job or you're gonna find an opportunity." And then my grandmother Hattie, she just always did what she had to, and she followed her dreams despite having children young. She just did what she wanted to and never stopped.
This Women's History Month, I want to share the story of my grandmother Nelly. Born and raised in the Philippines, she had 6 wonderful children, including my mother. She also had a loving husband who unfortunately passed away from cancer when my mom was only in 3rd grade. And when he passed, she became the sole breadwinner of the family. Although she worked very hard, sometimes the money still wasn't enough. So she had to make the extremely difficult decision of leaving her home and her children behind in order to make a better life for them. She immigrated to the United States to work. However, she did not choose the traditional career path of nurse or caretaker. Instead, she was a fashion designer, seamstress, and interior designer. Eventually, she had her own dress shop in Dearborn, Michigan. While living in the States, she met her next love, Noble, a man from Michigan who loved her and her children so much, he adopted all 6 of them and helped them come to the U.S. My grandmother made many sacrifices for her family. She was beautiful, talented, kind, extremely generous, always dressed to the nines. She would tell me stories while I played dress up in her wardrobe or when she would make apple pie. And although she's no longer with us, she still inspires me to be a better person and to be my most authentic self. We are powerful.
We are powerful.
We are powerful.